This is the first skill builder presentation, working with drawing and the element of our line. So the definition of a line is, mathematically, it's the path of a point through space. Lines are infinite. They never end. They never begun. They just are. When we see part of a line, it's a line segment. That's something you should probably remember from math. And to visualize this, because it's a bit of an abstract thought, think about stars in the sky, okay? From where we are, they just look like little dots. But when you're in the spaceship, they look like lines because you're moving through space. So going from the little dots or the points, and then as you travel through space, boom, lines. So why you see lines, and we talk about the brain a lot in art because it helps you understand how things work. Your brain has two streams. It has a ventral stream and it has a dorsal stream. And you have got, the different parts of your brain. This is your eye to get you oriented, and your optic nerve. And what happens is information goes in your eye, it kind of travels back through your optic nerve, and then when it gets to the dorsal stream, that puts the lines together, kind of like dot to dot, and turns them into objects, and then it locates them in space. So if you think about a grid and drawing boxes on a grid or something like that, that's what your brain is doing. It sees the lines, it puts it together, it says, okay, that's a table and that one's over there. The ventral stream takes that same information and it processes it differently. It identifies the object and it tells you what to do about that object, your appropriate response or movement. So if it's a table, oh, it's that table over there. Is it my table? Ventral stream says, well, yeah, so let's go sit there because that's what we're supposed to do. Or, no, that's somebody else's table. Don't go there. Or, oh, look, that table is full of snacks. Characteristics of line. Lines are one-dimensional, and they do have variations. The variations are length, width, texture, speed, and direction. Your directions: horizontal, vertical, diagonal, curve, and angle. So length is how long a line is. And study this image for a minute and tell me where the longest and the shortest lines are. The shortest ones are pretty easy to pick out because they're those here in the center. Or are they? Nope. They are the little ones like this between the two rectangles. And the long lines are on the outside edges, the first one in, because it actually runs the whole length. So that was a little bit of a trick. Width is how wide the line is. This is another trick, another illusion. It's when you look at it one way or the other, you might see the black lines as being dominant or the white lines. All of the lines are wider at one end and then narrow down to a point. Texture is how a line appears to feel. If it is jagged, like this, it will have the appearance of feeling rough or sharp. But if it's wavy, then it feels softer and smoother. Speed is how quickly a line is drawn. When you draw a line very fast, like these here on the left, then they're smooth. It's like writing your name very fast for a signature. It may look a little sloppier than your regular handwriting, but it's very smooth, and you can tell that they did it naturally. But on the right, where you see the vase, and that's drawn with a computer mouse, and if you've ever drawn with a computer mouse for the first time and you're not used to it, it can be kind of bulky and glitchy. And you can see where these lines kind of hesitate and stop and start, and they're drawn fairly slowly and carefully. The slower you draw, the harder it is to get the line under control. And that sounds opposite of drawing fast, but when you draw slow, your hand tends to shake more. So the best place to be is medium to medium fast when you draw. But that takes time. And then direction is the orientation of a line, where it goes. Does it go this way, that way, up, down, sideways, diagonal, curves, angles? What's up with it? Vertical is straight up and down, and these lines usually are associated with things that are more stable and powerful, aggressive. Horizontal, flat, side to side. Horizontal lines tend to be more peaceful lines, less variation in them, and they tend to calm people down. Diagonal lines go from point to point across corners, whether they're straight or wavy like these. And diagonal lines always stand for movement, action. They add energy to a drawing. Curves go around in curves, whether it's a full circle curve or whether it's a semicircle. And angles are where two lines meet at a point. And there's three kinds of angles, and hopefully this is reviewed from math class. Acute angles are less than 90 degrees, and you can think of them as baby angles, and they're acute. That's how you can remember that. Obtuse angles are over 90 degrees, so they are great big angles. And then right angles are in the middle. They meet and they make an L, and they are perfect. They always have 90 degrees. So this is your assignment, and since you're not in class, we don't have a handout, so you're going to have to make your own, and that's okay, because you can, just kind of hack it out into a grid. The boxes don't have to be perfect. If you don't have a ruler, just use the side of a sheet of paper or something for a straight edge to make a straight line. And you're going to, first of all, you're creating this chart. So it has 5 across, length, width, texture, speed, direction, and 6 down. Direction, horizontal, vertical, diagonal, curve, and angle. So these are the variations of line, and then directions go down. So you're going to fill out the chart like this. So in this box, you would have horizontal lines of different lengths. Oh, and I do want you to write the definition down underneath the word, because that'll help you remember them. So in this box, you would draw lines going straight across that are all different lengths. Some might be very short, some might be very long, but they're all horizontal. Second box, horizontal lines of different widths. Some might be fat, some thin. Again, they're all horizontal. And then you do horizontal texture, horizontal speed. The next one is vertical, and I'll show you what this looks like in a minute. It says that there's an example of what it looks like on the next slide, but that's a lie. So, I'm going to get out of this program. Alright, and so this is on a document camera, and it's not mirrored correctly. That's why the words are backward. But this is length, so I would write the definition of length here, which is how long a line is. Width is how wide. Texture, what it feels like. Speed is how fast. And direction is orientation. So horizontal, which I talked about. For length, it doesn't matter if they are short lines or really long lines or medium lines, or if it's over here. As long as it's horizontal and different lengths, just fill up your block with horizontal lines of different lengths. And I'm not going to fill up the whole thing. I'm doing a few. Well, this is what it looks like. I'm filling up the whole thing. Simply because I need to, show you what to do now. Okay, horizontal lines of different widths. So a horizontal line here might be kind of wide, which is actually, I'm making many lines, but that's okay. Or it might be a thin horizontal line or a medium horizontal line, just so you have different widths all the way through. Texture, as long as it's horizontal, it can be loopy and bumpy. It could be sharp and jaggedy. It could be soft and wavy. They're still all horizontal, but they look like they would feel different ways. And then speed. Some of these you would draw very fast. See, when I draw the fast line, you can see it's darker where I start, and then as I get away from it, it gets thinner and lighter. And then I might draw very, very, very slow. And when I draw very slow, it's not as straight. It has more bumps in it. Then some medium. And just kind of try it out. Then you drop down vertical lines. And I would do the same thing. Here's my speed. Notice with the verticals, if I go really fast, they curve a little bit. That's okay. And then texture and vertical lines. And you can use the same textures again, just change their orientation if you like, or you could add some new textures, etc. Wide ones, long ones. When you get down to curve and angle, you are doing the same thing. You just are using different types of curves. So for speed, I might have fast curves that are really tight. I might have a slow curve that takes a long time. I could have little tiny curves. I could have a curve going this way. Texture, curves that are curvy or bumpy. Curves that are sharp are still curves. Curves that are branchy, still curves. Okay? Angle. Mix them up. Obtuse, acute, right. Have them going this way and that way and upside down and however you want to do it. Speed. Same thing. Texture with angle. Again, you can use the same textures. Here's kind of the lacy one. And then maybe I want the jaggedy one to be really big. Okay, and that's what you do.